and welcome to NFL Talk. I'm Aidan Doyle, alongside my partners Andrew Goldstein and Byron Tollefson. We're here to talk about this year's NFL Draft, which took place at Radio City Music Hall in New York. Now guys, there are a lot of picks, a lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones. That's what the experts are saying. Now it's time to hear what you guys have to say. Who do you think is going to emerge as the best quarterback taken this year?
The best quarterback?
Quarterback.
I really think early on, the best quarterback in this draft is going to be Blake Bortles. You start off with a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, who emerged as the front guy. Johnny Manziel has potential to do well, but I think at this point, he's too much of a risk, taking very late. There's a reason why a lot of people passed on him. He's a little bit short. He has that game-changing potential, but at this point, there's a lot of bust potential in that as well. Not really at the Brady Quinn level, because this guy is a difference maker because of his ability to evade the rush, but I think that Blake Bortles is the most sure quarterback, NFL ready in this draft. Teddy Bridgewater falling very, very late. I think Bortles is the safest guy. I'm not sure if he'll be a superstar, but I think right now, unless Manziel really lives up to his really, really good potential, I think Bortles is the most NFL-ready quarterback right now.
I think a lot of Jacksonville fans were hoping that you're right, because you're talking about a franchise that has not had a very good past decade, and they really need a spark to turn that franchise around. How about you, Andrew?
Well, if my prediction comes true, then the Jaguars are going to add on to their decade of misery. I don't think that Blake Bortles is going to be a good quarterback at all. I think that all the quarterbacks taken in this draft are going to be average at best. I think that the best out of all of them would be Teddy Bridgewater. I think that both Blake Bortles and Johnny Manziel got propped up by very good pro days. And pro days are meant to show off athletic, physically gifted quarterbacks and show absolutely none of the skills you're going to use during a game, such as reading defenses, changing plays on the fly, knowing the playbook, all of the things that scouts said made Bridgewater such a special prospect in the first place. Bortles, Manziel, I think that they're workout wonders. I think that they were made to look very good by the draft process, but once they get into games, I think we're going to find out that they're not NFL ready.
I think there's some truth in what you're saying, and I think Manziel was definitely hyped up in the draft process. And Bortles, I see some of that too. But when Bortles was playing in college, there were a lot of clips of him reading defensive well. There's the correct point that by his size and his workout wonder performance, that he doesn't seem like ready for that in the NFL. But some of the clips I've seen of him in college, very good reading defenses. I don't think he's going to be a star. In Jacksonville, would have probably been better off waiting until next year to find another guy. But I think that you can be a difference maker early on. He's miles ahead of Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert was taken very early on. He would just fall back, not being able to take any pressure. Bortles took a lot of pressure in college, but I think there's some truth in what you're saying as well.
All right, now 7 rounds, 256 picks. A lot of guys who emerge out of later rounds. We've seen that in years past. Hall of Famers who are coming from rounds 5 and 6 and 7, all over the place, and yet guys who get drafted in the top 5 who are complete busts. Is there any guys that you think are sleepers from the late rounds?
All right, I've got 3 sleepers. I'm going to go over them in short order. One of them, out of Akron, Dree Archer. He is a kick returner, running back, wide receiver extraordinaire. I think he could be the next Devin Hester. He runs a blazing 40. His acceleration, 0 to 60 speed, is better than any player in this draft. That includes Sammy Watkins. I think Archer can be a difference maker on special teams. Second guy I'm looking at, Jared Abbrederis, wide receiver out of Wisconsin, taken in the 5th round by the Green Bay Packers. He's short, he's shifty, great route runner. I think he could be the next Wes Welker, especially when surrounded by Aaron Rodgers and a very competent receiving core. And thirdly, I'm looking at Chris Borland, another Wisconsin guy, linebacker drafted by the 49ers. He's a better Borland than Al, better Borland than Wes. He is absolutely fantastic. He's a little bit short, but he's athletic, he's a tackling machine, and he rarely makes the wrong plays. Very good lateral movement. All 3 of them, I think, are going to make an impact in this league.
Archer has been compared to a Lamborghini with 2 legs. And now that comparison,
yes,
that
agreed.
shows off speed.
Agreed.
He's got what it takes to be one of the premier kick and punt returners in the NFL. How about you, Byron?
I think the biggest difference maker to come out of this draft comes at number 4 with Sammy Watkins. The ability already he has shown in training camp with the Buffalo Bills is unparalleled. His size-speed combination, as well as ability to make big plays consistently works hard, play after play. He doesn't give up on plays. He's always working, and he has some big play potential. He has the potential of Calvin Johnson. He's that wide receiver the Bills need.
Really?
And they
You
have
think Calvin Johnson potential?
Somewhat in that area so far. He really can be a difference maker for the Buffalo Bills. They haven't had a wide receiver like him. They already have Robert Woods. Imagine Watkins on the other side next to him. That's going to be some great targets for E.J. Manuel. I think he will be the Rookie of the Year, have some really great performances early on, and he'll be a fantasy superstar. Maybe Calvin Johnson's a little bit too high, but he really does have a lot of potential.
Let's say what Watkins lacks in size, obviously he doesn't have the 6'5" height that Calvin Johnson has, he makes up for in intangibles. And I'm sure E.J. Manuel's hoping that he reaches that Calvin Johnson potential because the Bills would sure love a top-tier wide receiver. How about you as far as your Rookie of the Year pick?
Rookie of the Year. I think that this is a very interesting question. I'm going to go boring here. I am going to go with Jadeveon Clowney, the #1 pick for the Houston Texans. I was tempted to choose Greg Robinson for the second overall pick that the Rams took because I love offensive linemen, but I think that choosing anybody besides Clowney would be foolish. When he's lined up alongside J.J. Watt with his natural pass rushing ability, that's the easiest job in the world. It would be like Ralph Sampson signing with the Celtics after his freshman year and getting to play with Bird and Parrish and DJ. I mean, that is, without a doubt, the best defensive line, the best pass rushing combo in the league. Maybe Chris Long and Robert Quinn can approach them in St. Louis, but I think that Clowney, with both his natural ability and the sheer cushiness of the situation, I can't imagine a better Rookie of the Year candidate. He's on pace for more than 10 sacks.
Now quick, last segment of this show. Roger Goodell has said that next year's NFL draft will either be in Chicago or Los Angeles. I just want a one-word, in one case, two-word answers. Out of those two, which one do you think would make a better host?
Actually, Byron, you go first in this one. I took the last one.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. And I've actually been to the NFL draft in New York. It's really crazy how crazy the fans are. However, I think you got to put it in Chicago. Los Angeles would be a very nice venue, very good facilities, and there would be a lot of fans out there. But there isn't a football team in Los Angeles. A lot of the diehard football fans come from the Chicago Bears. There will be a lot of fans at that. They can provide the facilities, and it is a true football town. Although Los Angeles should have a football team in a few years, it's not like that now. It should be Chicago.
I think it should be Chicago too. I don't want the NFL draft turning into the ESPYs where the anchors repeatedly get out of conversation to announce that Drake has been spotted on the red carpet. It needs to be in a football place with football fans, and that's Chicago.
Yep. All right, well, thank you for joining us for this episode of NFL Talk. For my partners Andrew and Byron, I'm Aiden Doyle. See you next time.
Bye-bye.